Right.
Yo, Flame. Yo, what's up, Justa Verse? Yo, let's have a conversation. Wanna have a conversation? We can have a conversation. Yo, we can have a conversation. Yo, let's have a conversation. Anytime you want a conversation, we can have a conversation. Have a conversation.
Yo, how you feel about your craft, where it takes you? Hoping to break through and show the whole world that can make or break you. Times when there was no bread to make do is what we had. All hard times turn to craft, still honing. It's like something inside keeps going, knowing I ain't got a dime, dealing with this present time. Just a verse, you feel me?
How do I feel about my craft, you ask? Well, my craft is more than words, it's a verse to express me. Laced with fire to spark a flame unexpectedly, always making listeners think. When I think about my craft, I think of cats from my past. De La Soul paving the way for Most Def, Common, and Talib Kweli. Once looked at as hippies, now looked at as thinkers, teachers. I want to teach her and him not to give in to the pressures of image. Now, I know I'm slightly changing the subject, but cats be subject to change the lyrical content because a horny record rep on the extra zero on their paycheck said to. So now I ask you, how you feel about image?
Oh, what's up, y'all? Edward H. Clark here in the house. How y'all doing? Welcome to another edition of Unvaccinated Voices. As usual, folks, it's the end of the year. It's the last show of the year, and trust me, if you've been watching, you know I can't help myself unless I mess up them graphics at least one time. Today's subject is not about mixed race children, even though we've got several on the panel tonight. Today's show is about school violence, man. You know, a lot of stuff's been going on in these schools. It's been absolutely crazy. People out here tripping. They shooting up the schools. They're giving the kids guns. They're going nuts. And the question is, how's this affecting kids in school where it's not happening? And even more important than that, what can we do to save our kids? That's going to be one part of it. The other part of this thing is we also have a special guest with us today. This dude is off the chain. I met this brother when I was on a cruise ship, and I got to know him for a couple of weeks, and he turned out to be one of the absolute best people on the planet. This dude's story is something we're going to definitely talk about. Plus, he's got a special coming up. Which is going to be off the chain, which you're absolutely going to enjoy. But we're going to talk about that because that special will be shown right here on UVB TV. Let me introduce the panel to you real quick. Let's start with our first guest right off the top. We got my man down in the lower corner, down there. That's right. Mr. Myles Weber is in the house. What's up, Joker?
What's up, Eddie? Thanks for having me. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you.
No doubt, man. Good to always see my man Myles Weber in the house. As always, you know, the cast. We got Justa Verse holding it down in Arizona, speaking a little bit of Spanish every now and then. And as we also know, she is the host of his Just a Conversation, which is going to show up 24 hours from now. Her year-end show will show up 24 hours from now, right here, 8 o'clock. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. As always, the queen herself holding it down at ATL, the queen, Karina Fort. You know what I'm saying? How do we actually make it when the queen is not here? I have no idea. John C. Hinton will be joining us soon because he's going to be hitting it off with this conversation we're going to be leading off with about the school violence and stuff. And, of course, educator, philosopher, the man that just tells you ain't nothing changed. It's you, Fletcher, in the house. You, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Glad to have you. I'm sure my man John will be joining us in a little bit. He's having a little technical difficulties. These things will happen. By the way, I don't know if you folks notice or not, but certain aspects on your internet is not working today because apparently somebody somewhere is screwing up something. I have no idea what's going on, but certain places, Netflix ain't working. Certain places, I'm an actor, as you all know. I do auditions and whatnot, and they had trouble getting me my breakdowns, and it was just horrible. But you know what? I'm still getting the job done. But that's another story for another time. Let me dive right into it because this conversation is serious for me. As we all know, over the last few years, actually, you know, we've had a constant problem with these school shootings, and we see, you know, from Columbine right up till what happened in Michigan. We've seen already it's kids getting a hold of guns, they're taking them, going to school, they got a problem, and they're busting people out. Now, there's different aspects of this I want to talk about. One of the aspects is how it's happening and how it's affecting kids. But there's something, and I'm gonna get Karina Forth to lead us on this a little bit later. It's actually the demographics of how this is breaking down, because we did a little studying and we discovered some stuff that absolutely blew my mind. But I'm gonna save that for a little bit later and let Karina Forth break that down. But as the educator that's here right now in the group, I gotta ask you, you're watching what's happening. You're teaching these kids. You're watching what's happening out here. What the hell? How does it affect the kids in your school? I mean, it's not happening in your school right now. Oh, thank God. But how does it affect, the kids in your school when they thinking somebody in my class just walk in there with a piece, just blow everybody away? What's up with that?
So one thing I always thank God for is that I do work in a Black school, because we don't have these kinds of situations taking place. Probably because we got metal detectors everywhere. But, when you talk about kids having to practice barring the door and getting into a corner, turning off the lights, there has to be some psychic trauma that takes place. And even though I think a lot of times our especially at the age that I work with, they're kind of detached from reality in that they're not watching the news. They're playing their video games. They're doing TikTok videos. But the reaction of the adults is what is causing the psychic trauma for them. I do remember when Columbine happened. I think I was a freshman in college, so that was about 98, 99. And I remember the shock of seeing this happen and the coverage that it received. And as time has passed, we have normalized school shootings to where it's really just kind of a news bleep on your 11 o'clock news. It doesn't get the coverage anymore, because we're now desensitized to the fact that this is supposed to happen. We expect it to happen almost. And when you normalize that kind of a thing, number one, it emboldens these kinds of actions to happen. Think about the correlation between Rittenhouse getting acquitted and this kid thinking that he can go into his school a week later and shoot people at random. And so all of this is playing on the way our children think, the way that they interact with each other, even the way that they speak to each other, and the lack of respect that they may have for each other. It's all connected.
Justa Verse, I saw you shaking your head what you were saying. Tell me what's on your mind.
Well, you know me, I always have my handy dandy notebook, writing down things. As Hugh made the comment about Rittenhouse, that was exactly what I was thinking right before he said it. We're in a society right now where you have challenges where children assault their teachers. This is a TikTok challenge. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, let me back up. When we were in school, and Hugh and I went to the same school. When we were in school, we didn't want to get caught by adults if we did something bad. Okay. Matter of fact, there was a specific security person We tried to stay away from that person because we were like,
Harvey.
We called him OJ, you know what I'm saying? But we tried to stay away from, because we did not want to get in trouble. We didn't want. There was a time when the teacher says, "I'm gonna call your parent," and that got us shook. Like, please don't call my mama. Please don't call my dad. Please don't call my grandma. Don't call nobody. I'll sit down. You know what I'm saying? And I lived in school suspension. I lived in detention. Like, me and those people were cool because I just lived there until my later years of high school. Well, these days, it's promoted to be disrespectful. It's promoted to call my mama, I don't care. And then the mama come up and be like, why are you calling me? My child ain't even do nothing. And doing that, and no one, it's about accountability. So since there's a lack of accountability, and then there's a lack of what's the word I'm looking? Oh my goodness, it's a simple word. Something happens and you feel what happens when you don't want to get in trouble. Can't think of the word right now. It's a simple word. Discipline. Jeez, discipline. Shout out to you, Yaya.
I knew he was gonna get it.
There's a lack of discipline. You know what I'm saying? So to go to school and consequences. That was the other word, lack of consequences. So when you have all of this, it's the perfect storm. There was a time when we fought outside the gate because you couldn't fight on the school grounds. When I was in here, you couldn't fight on the school grounds. But when you got off the school grounds, it was on and popping. So we could fight and then we leave it alone and everybody go about their business and nothing really. But now you have this society. There's no respect. There's no discipline. There's no consequences. So before it was, I felt bullied. And then you kind of feel bad for the person. Now it's, my parents got me a gun and I just decided I was going to pop off on some people and your parent is like, you got to learn how to not get caught. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the society we live in. I was afraid of this before. So when Makai said he didn't want to go back to school, I was like, I then bet. And I homeschooled my baby while working 2 jobs and going to college. I made it happen. I felt safer. When he went back to school for the 7th grade, because he went from 4th grade to 6th grade, he was homeschooled. He went for 7th grade. Then he said he not feeling this. And he came back home until senior year because I wanted him to have that senior experience. But when he went back to 7th grade, every single day I was afraid. Every day. I don't think I ever prayed so much in my life. You know, and it's sad and it's scary. I got a new brother and sister right now. And the one thing that keeps 2 things. Them getting stopped by the police. That's a different story, different show. But the other thing is I'm scared to death for them to go to school. I really am. And that's where we are right now. And it's so sad and it's heartbreaking because these kids we learned how to we were in Florida, so we learned hurricane drills. We learned how to get in the doorway so nothing don't fall on us. That's what we learned. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you got to learn if there's an active shooter. I could go on and on for this whole show if you let me. So I'm going to go ahead and stop myself.
Before we go to the Queen, Myles, you're out in, and we're going to talk more about your past in a little bit, and that will definitely bring some education to the table as far as you know where you're coming from. But you're out on the West Coast, all right? Now, supposedly California is supposed to be this liberal place that's all good, and you know nothing bad ever happens. But you have a little bit. How exactly does this affect? You know, how do you see it from the West Coast out there? Kids, school,
I mean,
and
bad
you got a
shit
little
happens.
one coming too.
Oh, yeah, I got a little one on the way, too, any day now. We went to the hospital today because we thought it might be happening. Turns out just being pregnant sucks.
It should be Monday because Monday is my birthday. So tell her to push real hard on Monday. Okay, great, thanks.
Oh, the bets that are coming in for this kid. People are saying on a Monday. My mama wants it to be on the 16th. We were thinking the 18th. She's getting induced on the 19th. Like, this kid's got every day. I'm like, what happened? Where are we going? A lot of shit pops off on the West Coast too, you know, especially the neighborhood I grew up in Vallejo, California. You know, the schools there were pretty rough. So, I mean, there was all kinds of wild stuff happening. And there is a big effect on it. Like we had touched on earlier, the psychological trauma that happens when kids got to go through these drills. Like I remember, like it was fire drills. We took like fire drills. That's what we had when I was younger. That was it. Fire drill. We all march out there, stand out there, bullshit for 10 minutes, and then we come back, don't finish class, go to lunch. Let's go. Right? That's it. We didn't have to worry about no active shooters or anything like that. But yeah, there's the whole system, everything top down. Like the teachers aren't getting paid enough to deal with all this, and have to be a parent for the parents who are working too much at home and just don't have the time or the patience to actually parent because they're overworking for not enough money. And then, yeah, man, the statistics, what'd you find, Eddie? Did you find that it was mostly young white dudes that are shooting it up?
1 second. We'll get to that in 1 second.
Yeah, because I mean, that's what it ends up being. And same thing with just mass shooters, just in general, when they become adults. Most of it's just white dudes. We be killing people, hella people. Like, I don't know what it is, like, but yeah, man, it's something going on with
centuries.
Right? I'm telling you.
For centuries.
Exactly. For the longest time, for over 400 years, it's been just violent white dudes. So yeah, man, this is a top-down thing. To me, everything affects everything, you know? So when you start looking at one thing and look under one stone to see, oh, well, what's going on here? You're going to have to look under another stone, and you're going to have to look under another one, and you're going to keep finding all this stuff. So the top down, burn it down. Let's make a new one. We got to do something better.
I hear that. Well, before we move on to Karina, let me just let you know who's in the house real quick. We got educator, another educator in the room, J Lat. My man is in the house. He's in Newark, New Jersey. We're gonna get to him in a minute. And we also got the fourth horseman is here. The Professor John C. Hinton has joined us. We're gonna be jumping on him because he's got an enlightenment he's gonna hit us with a little bit of education on this subject. But before we get to that, let's get that. We're gonna do what the man say. We're gonna put it where the goats can get it. All right, Karina Ford, break it down.
School shootings. All white men, not some, not most, all. Let's be clear. That's not in our DNA. We don't do that. If our kid comes to school with a gun, for one, he ain't gonna get through the front door. Bring. It's not gonna happen. He may hide it, he may catch him on the outside, but he's going to shoot that one person that messed with him. He ain't just shooting people just cause that, you know. Is it fuck it today? Everybody gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? That's not in our DNA. You'll never see that because our people are so fucking conditioned that that will never ever happen. Because you know what? If it was gonna happen, guess what? Zimmerman would not be walking around. Period. He would not be walking around. Who did him? Breonna Taylor. Not walking around. We would seek revenge. We are not revengeful people. We are not. We don't do that. See, and another thing is, you know, certain laws don't apply to us because they weren't made for us. So you can walk down the street. You, my sir from Cali, you can walk down the street with an AK. Let me try to walk down the street with an AK. Especially with this fade, it's over. I ain't making it far. I ain't making it far. Straight up. This right here, you know, and you know what's sad is that Black people take on everybody else's problems. When it's something it's not even in our schools. It's not in our schools. You know what a white lady said? That they was like, hey, how come you guys don't have metal detectors in your schools? You know what I'm saying? Well, we don't want to treat our children like inmates. So it's okay to treat our fucking kids like inmates? It's okay to treat our kids like inmates. Your kids is the craziest. They the ones who got the most money and the most leverage. They could do anything. The parents was told in this last case with this, they got a fucked up name anyway, Crumbly. Yeah, it was terrible. The name said it all. They told him, brought him in school, say, hey, I think your son, you know, is having issues. And they're like, yeah, okay. Hey, son, just don't get caught. You know what? Let's go out and buy your ass a gun. Let's do that. Who says that shit? You call a Black mama down there and she is not going to be happy. She's going to do something about it. She's going to do something about, boy, you need to see somebody. Either you talking to an uncle that will whoop ass and give you a gun lesson, you know what I'm saying, on why you don't, it would be a whole different story. See, the reason why it hasn't taken height is because it's white males who run shit. White males who make the laws. White males. Everything. All of this is them. And that is why you won't see it from us, and you won't see it in our schools, and you have not seen it in our schools. It is not going to happen. Fighting, yes. Do we kill each other? I'm not saying we're not killers. Yeah, we kill each other. But that's a crime of proximity. It happens in every community. The suburbs be killing people like a mofo. But don't nobody say nothing about it because it's the suburbs. It's the same thing.
And Karina, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Have you yet to hear anyone call it white on white crime?
Never. They always got a crime for us. Black on black crime. Did you say Latino or Latino crime? Wait a minute, is that Asian or Asian crime? It happens. It's called private proximity. If you're all in the same area, you're bound to have an argument, a fight, a scuffle, something running. And let's be clear, because right now it probably sounds like I hate white people. I don't. This yellow ass face ain't come from Africa. Totally. It didn't have a couple of.
I know Myles is glad to hear that.
But what I'm saying is, let's see. The thing is, people deviate from the real facts. I don't give a shit what you do. Look it up. Google it. What you gonna see? You ain't gonna see nothing. It's just like serial killers, all white males. Oh, you got one, and you know what? We're gonna call him what he is. He's not African American. He was Jamaican. Say that he was Jamaican.
Pause. We not.
They don't want to call themselves black. Hey, at this point, we ain't gonna accept him. He gonna say he was Jamaican. He was Jamaican.
Yeah, the sniper. Yeah.
Check it out. Check it out. Before we move on.
That dude was smooth though, Eddie. He put a hole in the back of the trunk.
You feel what I'm saying?
That's some black man shit. He revolutionized.
Word.
Before,
he didn't go
yo,
through the thing. Put on some
glad,
shit.
Hold on, wait, hold on, everybody. Hold on, wait a second, everybody. Hold on, I want to just keep this thing straight. You just heard from him from Newark, educator, Jay Latt. He is in the house. Yo, man, give me a couple of quick minutes on this subject, real quick, before we break it down to the professor.
Karina said it all. This is as far as school shooting go, white people, y'all gotta take the L on that one. Now, some drug money missing, some shit's been missing, like where my book bag at? Yo, nah, give me my book bag back. I'm like I had some stuff in there that I need for later on.
Petty crimes.
Yeah, petty shit. That's us. We'll shoot you over an hour later or some bullshit like that's the shit we do. It's dumb too. I'm not saying it's okay. It's dumb. I'm a teacher. I know. The fights that I see every day, and you know who fights the most in our school, Eddie, and everybody. Guess, boys or girls? Guess.
Girls.
Girls.
Yeah, we fight the most.
We damn near break up a riot with these 4 girls fighting. This shit stemmed from 4th grade. They was telling, they had a fight in 4th grade. They've been mad, and then they're 8th grade. 4 years. It's like, what the fuck?
We hold grudges, Jay.
I know.
Check it out. We got you folks who met everybody on the board. This subject was actually supposed to start out, but because of technical difficulties, I told you guys it's going on the internet. It's going crazy, and hopefully, and thank you, Professor, for actually getting in this thing, man, because I thought we had lost you there for a minute. John C. Hinton is about to. Yeah, we got you. John C. Hinton is about to enlighten us real quick. He's going to give us a couple of minutes on this entire subject, and we come back. We're going to talk about it for a minute. But first, folks, you know how it works. You got to enlighten me with Mr. John C. Hinton.
Get ready.
So listen, since 1999, there has been at least 10 school shootings at the elementary school alone. Now, I'm talking about in terms of fatalities, the worst school shootings. We're going to go by north, south, east. We're going to go by every region. So let's start off with the south. In the south, there was a school shooting where there was 173 incidents of gun violence and the result of 105 fatalities and 226 injuries. But the most deadliest incident was in Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. Now, that shooting happened in February 14th, 2018. A former student killed 17 people and wounded at least a dozen others before being arrested by police. Let's go to the West. You had 92 incidents of gun violence, which resulted in 75 fatalities and 171 injuries. Now, the deadliest incident, as we all know, was in Columbine High School massacre, April 20th, 1999. Two students, one an 18-year-old, one 17, killed 12 students, one teacher, before shooting and killing themselves. Let's break down the Midwest. In the Midwest, you had 77 incidents of gun violence. Now, that resulted in 40 fatalities and 98 injuries. Now, the deadliest violence in that one happened in Red Lake High School massacre. Now, that happened on March 21, 2005. 16-year-old student killed 5 fellow students, one teacher, and a security guard before taking his own life. Let's talk about the Northeast, where I live. 45 incidents of gun violence, which resulted in 53 fatalities and 45 injuries. But the deadliest one was in Sandy Hook Elementary School. Now, that massacre took place December 14th, 2012, where a 20-year-old boy killed 20 children and 6 adults, including his mother, before taking his own life. We've had gun violence going on since even before all of this was going on. There were still guns in these schools. I wish I can recall the one where 2 kids pulled the fire alarm and waited for the kids to come out and recess, taking pop shots at it. Now, after all of those fatalities that we were talking about, all of those murders, 300 murders since Columbine, 278,000 kids have been affected by gun violence. And we're not even talking about the ones that was brought, where a student went in there with intentions of wreaking havoc, but was tackled by a security guard or a teacher. So the question is, what do we do next? How do we stop this? You know, the kids in Parkland stated that they're going to wait out the legislators because they're going to outlive them. But how can you outlive somebody if you're being gunned down and then within 4 or 5 days afterwards, you have a Kentucky congressman, like what happened in Michigan, have a whole picture, postcard with him and his family with long rifles. That's where we're at right now. So that's what we need to talk about. How can we stop our kids from getting killed as they're trying to get an education? That's where we're at.
Well, you guys can all unmute there. You guys heard it all. And the thing about it is we realize at this point, it's not just a regional problem. I remember when this whole thing first jumped off, a lot of people used to have this attitude, it's just the South, you know, it's just the South, or it's, you know, it's certain, it's red states, you know, not necessarily, you know, John, in your particular situation, you're in a school district up there in Connecticut.
Yes.
All right. You're not, as I understand it, you're not in a you're in the area you are is mostly students are mostly white.
No, you know what? We have a multicultural. I mean, Manchester is predominantly white, but you know what? It's changing. The demographics is changing. The kids in our school system, the majority of them aren't white at all. You know, but here's the thing: we have to practice, as all of these educators here, we have to practice that hard lockdown intruder drills, where intruders in the building. So when you saw that video where them kids had barricaded the doors with chairs, who would have ever thought growing up that you had to practice not only your lessons and your assignments and try to further your education, but how to make it out of a building if somebody comes in there to kill you? To grab whatever you can, bombard the door, and use anything by any means necessary. It's some of the educators, really, to be honest with you, some of them can't handle it because I don't know about how others do it, but we have the police department from Manchester comes into our school, and he would give us one of these. They're like a paintball gun, and would use that to try to get in and pretend that we're the perpetrators, right? And we also like every month we practice where no visibility for the doors. All of the kids must cluster together and form some type of place where they can remain quiet. It's sad. It's sad.
You know, when you were,
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. You know, when you were talking and you were, what I was thinking about was after, I can't remember which one it was, but there was a group of kids who got together and they were like, you know, they were speaking up. They were going and talking in, you know, all these different places. And to me, it seemed like the adults were saying, oh, that's so cute. They want to speak up and protest. And I don't think they were ever truly taken seriously because I saw them for a snapshot in time right after whatever the school shooting was. They had until the next news cycle came and then they were forgotten. After this happened, I was watching a news station, and one of those kids that was speaking up at that time, who is now an adult, at the time he said there are people watching this, there are kids watching this that don't even realize that they're the next victims. And even as you were watching that current interview a couple days ago, they said it again. There are kids watching this right now that do not know they're the next victims. Yet when these young people, white, black, whatever, these young people come up and speak, I don't think they're given the proper ear and the proper respect as the people that are actually dealing with this. Because it's usually a bunch of students. Occasionally there might be a teacher that gets hurt, but it's usually a bunch of students. So when these students speak up and say we're scared and we need something to happen, it shouldn't be a cute conversation, a cute news cycle, and then you move on and let the grown people handle this. They can't even vote, so at least let them have their voice and let's listen and see what they're dealing with from day to day. You know, we can go into all of these arguments about masks and things like that, but you don't have a proper counselor that's there all the time, that's doing periodic checks on people. You send them there when something goes wrong after the fact. Now you want to send them to get counseling. But when you notice that this kid is acting out, or you notice that this kid is being bullied, or whatever the case may be, it's few and far between that you get them to say, you know what, we have a therapist on site right now, and we're going to make you go over here and talk to this person. It's just brushed aside. So it's going to keep happening until it's addressed beforehand. Thank God there are people like John. Thank God there are people like you. Thank God there are people like J-Lat that take a moment to recognize kids and, you know, have that connection. But
Well, the sad thing about it is a lot of this could have been avoided years ago. Nobody, um, when Ronald Reagan got shot, they came out with the Brady Bill. Why? Because this boy that was supposed to be protecting them, I don't know if it was a Secret Service person or politics himself, but he got popped. So when you hear about the Brady Bill, it's because of the person that got shot during that Ronald Reagan assassination attempt. His last name was Brady. But you have politicians, and we can say Democrat or Republican, but a lot of them are Republicans that own the narrative about it's not guns that kill people, it's people that kill people. Some of these the NRA leaders, they have a strong hold on this Republican Party. And the sad thing about it, some of the members of Congress even get their talking points from the NRA.
Mm-hmm.
Look what happened in Parkland.
Yes, and
Go ahead.
okay, I was saying, it's amazing. Yes, it is people who kill people, but what has taken place in order to deter people from killing people? What legislation has come out of all of these shootings that have taken place since, since Columbine? But I think there was even a kid who did a school shooting prior to that, who actually inspired the Columbine kids. So we're constantly having this happen over and over. Nothing is happening on a legislative level, and nothing is happening really on a counseling level. And so we are constantly reliving this to the point that we've become desensitized to it. The other thing I wanted to say was that it is not, going back to what Karina was saying, it's programmed into the psyche that this is how we handle our crises, our personal crises. Our country was built on massacres. Every time they got mad, they killed a lot of people. The Boston Massacre, British came in and killed a bunch of people. And so we were conditioned that we have issues with that person, we deal with that person, maybe even that group of people who we got beef with. But this whole thing of just randomly massacring innocent people, it's taught throughout history, and so they're conditioned to do it.
Go ahead, Jay.
No, I was actually talking to somebody. One of the biggest problems in today's society is like recognition. But some of these people just do it for recognition, just like to get their name out there. It's really, really sad. Before we was talking about serial killers. We had serial killers before, but now it's hard to be a serial killer because there's cameras everywhere. Everybody got eyes on you. Everybody got a phone out. There could be the Ted Bundy today because we're just that vigilant. So, and these are people that wanted their name out too. They did all that shit for recognition, and now kid gets bullied. He thinks he's nothing. He thinks nobody likes him. Nobody got his side. His family doesn't have his side. Nobody to listen to, not an ear to talk to. And he feels like he's a nobody, just some kid in some city that nobody's ever heard of in Florida, Utah, wherever. You name his place. He gets a gun, which is like the easiest thing to get in America. Even, your parents got guns. They're not locked up anywhere. Grabs a gun, shoots some people he didn't like already, who he's been talking about and dreaming about. And he shoots up a bunch of people, and he kills himself or gets arrested. He knows his life is over. Like that's and what happens? It's the same thing like on Instagram. Like people that get all these likes and shit for doing nothing. It's the same thing. His name is out there, and that's the sad thing. And then we get desensitized. That's what scares me the most. You hear it, and you're like, oh, another shooting. Like it's sad, but you hear it so much, your brain is just used to it now. And the sad thing is, you get desensitized until it hits close to you. And chances are, this shit keeps happening. It's going to hit home to one of us.
In the Wild West, you didn't just go in with your gun. You had to leave your shit outside the town.
Mm-hmm.
There was gun laws back then.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is that the NRA at one point in time wasn't where they are now. And now, whenever you put money into education or you put money into politics, this is what you get because you get those fruitcakes or those nut jobs out there, right? Like the like Congressman Gates from Florida. This blood clot said when Rittenhouse or whatever his name is got acquitted of all charges that he should be run for congressman. I would take him as an intern. So I look at the video. I saw some heroes trying to take an assault rifle from a 17-year-old kid and died for it.
Yeah.
It's disgusting when the parents are conditioning these kids, buying them guns and taking them this and that and so forth, and teaching them how to hate.
It's
I know. I just want to say this. I just want to say this real quick. All of them times we had them civil rights marches with Dr. King and the Snick and John Lewis and all of them. Who had a pistol? Who had a gun? If I mean, I see that they were protesting and had to run for their life. So when you have states where the laws and the rule of law and the politicians are all against us because they don't care about us, they don't value our lives the same.
I'll speak. I got something to throw out real quick.
Okay, Myles. Good.
I think this country is balls deep right now in a mental health crisis. Like so much of everything that we've talked about today is what's happening in here and how there isn't any support. Justa Verse was talking about there ain't enough therapists in the schools or counselors for the kids to talk to. There isn't a protocol to deal with that. The NRA could sit here and talk about, oh, guns don't kill people, people kill people all day, but you ain't funding any mental health research. There's countless organizations that you could be throwing money at to be like, okay, well, if people kill people, then what are we doing to fix the problem? Instead of being like, figure it out. Like, nah, man. So at the end of the day, man, governments and churches don't have any interest in you strengthening your mind and you being able to be strong here because you can't be controlled or manipulated or conned into buying shit if you got a strong mind. So that's why there just isn't as much funding in the mental health field, and there needs to be. At the end of the day, if we can get our mind right, we can rework a lot of the shit that's going on here to try and understand.
You know how we can do it? Everybody that is in government, if they look like the people that they represent, black, brown, yellow, you name it, then you wouldn't have these fucking issues. I'm not saying it directly towards you, but you got one Uncle Tom Congress senator from South Carolina, okay, and there hasn't been a black senator there for like 150 years. He doesn't believe that there's systemic racism. He doesn't believe that there's police brutality against people that look like us. So until we get old white, mostly white males, out of there and get people, regardless how young you are, but you represent us, then you'll start seeing a change. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to live till 2043 when we become the majority.
So in my school, I work at a charter school in Jersey City. We have about 400 students, got K through 8. There's only one. We have a guidance counselor who pretty much deals with the kids' issues, but we have one. We got 3 security guards. We got one. She has to deal with K through 8. I think we should have 3. We should also have 3 guidance count, 3 people, for help, because that woman is like, I talked to her. So much stuff goes through her desk. So many kids be in the office at once. There's so many issues. You're right. We need more therapists. We need more. We have a child study person, a social worker, but he deals outside. Like he deals with the situation outside, and he's even overwhelmed. So yeah, I agree. 400 students to 1. That's a huge ratio for mental health issues.
Right. And check this out. This is the thing, though, because John just said if you had people representing what they look like. But check this out. We're talking about a bunch of white kids that's killing white kids, right? They have people that look like them that's representing them. They still don't care. And that's a problem. That's a huge problem because you don't even care about your own. So before we even get into us and the black people and the black schools and the whatever, you're not even taking care of your own. And the other thing is, it's crazy how we're desensitized to school violence, but we're sensitive to words people say to us, and we want to call everything bullying. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Growing up, you called it the dozen. You can call it, you can call it different things, whatever. But we literally made fun of each other. Me personally, I would shut up because I'm not like that. I'm one of those people. I get in the shower and it's like, boom, that's a good line, but it was already over. So I don't want to say too much because I'm gonna end up getting mad. You feel what I'm saying? But this is something that we grew up on. We were not that was not bullying. Making fun of your sneakers, it hurt, but it wasn't something that you felt like somebody had to die over. Stepping on your sneakers might be a different issue, but making fun of someone's sneakers is not, or making fun of, it sucked. It did. Because, you know, one family didn't have it like the other family, whatever the case may be. But it never, even with the white kids, they were not going and shooting up each other and all types of stuff. But suddenly, social media becomes this big phenomenon where now you're being made fun of, and instead of in front of your friends or in front of the school or in front of, now it's in front of the world. If it viral, there's somebody over in China laughing at that ass. You know what I'm saying? So then people get extra sensitive. Stones. These kids don't even know that phrase for real. What, am I going to beat you with a stick and stone? Is that what you're saying? Like, they don't understand that some words are words, and it sucks, and nobody should be mean to anyone else. But it's just, it's mind-blowing how sensitive everyone has gotten, but then turns around and becomes desensitized to the violence that happens. I'm looking at the news today, and it's a little snippet you see of the shooting in Wisconsin, Michigan. It's a little snippet.
Yeah, it's a minute.
Come on, like
I know you're not surprised.
No, I want to ask. I got a question. Hold up. I got a question I want to direct towards Karina. I want to throw this towards Karina Ford. Based on everything you've seen and everything you said earlier, I ask you this. Do you think there is any hope for our kids with what's going on right now? I mean, 10, 20 years down the line, with the permissiveness is going on, do you think there's any hope? And particularly, is there any hope for black kids under these circumstances? Because you know that sooner or later, everybody keeps saying it's not going to happen. We talked about this earlier. Sooner or later, some kid, because let me tell you something, John Hinton was talking about Tim Scott. He don't like that. I call him Uncle Timmy. But he was talking about Tim Scott over there in South Carolina. You know, you get a guy like that happens to be black, just thinks, maybe I'll go in school and bust out 25, 30 people. Do you think there's any hope for us the way it's going down, Karina?
What do you mean? When you say
for the young people,
All right, what I was thinking. You mean us as a community, meaning black people?
I'm talking about black people in our community.
It's the world, we love each other, and we all.
I understand what you're saying about how we basically are not vengeful people the whole 9 yards, and we don't. This is not in our DNA. But sometimes this kind of stuff crawls into our DNA. All right. What I'm saying is, so you're telling me you honestly don't believe there's some point where some black kids
will do that? No, never. Because you gotta think. What white kid is running from the cops? Oh wait, which one is scared? They showed a video of a little kid. He's playing in his yard, right in Bloomfield. You seen that video, John? Little black kid. He about to just play ball because the ball is over his, the hoop is over his garage. He see the cops coming. He tucks the ball. He's only probably like about 10, maybe 11. He fucking hides behind his parents' truck. Yeah, no, we the fuck ain't doing that. I don't care what nobody says. We will never do that because if that was our thing, We would have been did that shit a long time ago. Slavery, even in slavery, we didn't do shit. You understand what I'm saying? We did not fight back. It'd be like a 1,500 of us and 4 masters on a goddamn horse. We are conditioned that somewhere still there's some superiority over there. So we won't do certain things like storming any cop. We should have been fucking blew up the White House. Let's be clear. We fucking built the shit. Let's be clear. We didn't do it. Ed, we did not. We should have blew the shit up. Ain't nobody come and avenge Trayvon Martin. Zimmerman got his fat ass somewhere on a beach with his toes up and a drink in his hand. Ain't nobody even scratched him. They didn't give him a little scratch. That's not in our DNA. We won't never do it because of the deep ass conditioning. It's wearing down, but we just don't have that mentality to do that. To succeed, yes, that type of thing. Now, as a whole, you got to understand it's so much bigger than the school, right? Let's go where it really originated from. Yeah, the officials, the slaves, right? Who the forefathers? Them white dudes? Yeah, them. The same white dudes that's over shit right now? Yeah, them. All of them. It starts with their ass. The NRA, we're the black president in that. They ain't even got a black secretary. Let's be clear. We don't do these things. We're never going to do these things. To control it, you have to stop these people. These people, this thinking that they have. This thinking is fucked up. And guess what? The whole thing is, and people hate to talk about, racism. Hello, everybody out there, racism. That's the shit. That's the fucking problem. So in order to stop it, you have to stop this. That's why the cops are able to just shoot your ass like it's nothing, like you at a rodeo. They popping your ass like you a can on a log. And it's no big deal.
Can you imagine if we didn't have video?
Right.
I mean,
I ain't like thinking about that.
It's like we don't need witnesses. We need video. Ain't that some shit? So back then during slavery, we had people. We have video. We drawing like motherfuckers getting lynched. I mean, this is the thing that the problem when I say is the government, is because the government was the ones that was used to oppress us. The Supreme Court was the ones that held up in 1834 that slavery was good. It was good for the country. You got everybody got. Why would Abraham Lincoln need to be on a fucking dollar bill when he cared more about bringing the Union together than us black folks? Because the man hired a segregationist to be his running mate.
Yeah.
And then 6 weeks into his term, he got shot. Now you got a racist motherfucker that believes the country should be run by white people.
Yeah.
You said some shit there, man. You said some shit. The funny thing, I was thinking of Rodney King. You said the video. Nobody believed us about the cop. Nobody believed us about the cop. Cops whipping our ass left and right. 92. Yeah. 92. They were whipping our ass.
That's when it started. 92.
Go back to Birth of a Nation. They fucking lied about how happy we were being in segregation and slavery. They had a whole fucking movie say, oh, they happy down there because they were able to lie about it. But then the camera. Yeah, you're right. The camera. Now, I want to push back on something that was said earlier about bullying and the dozens and all. I think you said that the dozens of bullying. It was still bullying. I you know what? It's all subjective in how the person feels. Because I've been bullied. Kid, we played the dozens. I got fucked with, and I didn't have nothing, no snapback. I was like, damn, you go home feeling a certain way. That's really no different. But back then, we fought. We didn't grab a gun and shoot up the place. We fought. Or you got your ass kicked. You got jumped. But, you go back, you go back,
Real hands.
Yeah, you use your hands. Yeah, I mean, it's
take away from bullying. It's just that we didn't react that same way, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah.
School, we took it, we fought, and the next day or the next week or whatever, we were back at it. It is what it is. I came up with a comeback. Now the next time, it's almost like you're at home, like, I can't wait till they say something again because I got a good one. I talked to my uncle. Or I talked to my cousin, I got a good one. So yeah, it's all bullying. I get that. But what I'm saying is the response to the bullying, I didn't call it bullying because it just is what it is. We call it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But my question is, Myles, as our white man, well, I'm not gonna call you white.
As our light-skinned brother.
You know what I'm saying? I like white people. I don't like white people. Okay, so Myles, as our white brethren, I'm giving you a safe space right now. Be honest. Do you think that this is something that will likely happen in a black school or with a black person? Just be 100%. Ain't nobody allowed to pick on him, or you got to deal with me.
But, let me just say, before you answer that question, let me just say this. Well, we're going to wrap this up in a couple, and we're going to go in it because Myles is our guest, and we want to talk about his. We're going to talk a little bit about his life and also about his special coming up, which is coming out this Sunday. It's going to be right here on UBB TV. But with that in mind, right, Myles, let him have it.
So you're talking about school shootings, right?
I already know where you want the people to hear about you. So go ahead.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen at a black school. Like you said it earlier, metal detectors are usually the black school, so that's gonna get nipped and tucked there. So you ain't gonna have it that way. And like you said, it's not in the culture. Like we'll box it out if we got to, like you said, or you're gonna get the homies to come around the corner and jump somebody if you got to. But you live to fight another day. We'll figure it out. Like, so, but yeah, this isn't a thing that's going to be happening at a black school. This is an inherently white male type of thing to just grab a gun that you could easily get. And now if you're a kid, you can just drive across state lines, just start shooting people. I was afraid. Oh, but he reached for his gun. I know it made me afraid when he reached for his gun. So I shot him with the gun I was pointing at him. Like, none of it make no sense. So yeah, like this is just, it all stems from like, it's a white dude thing. Even women, you don't see women doing stuff like this, like the mass shootings and the school shootings and everything. It's not a women thing. No, absolutely not. Women don't do that. Women will break you down over the course of the rest of your life slowly. Yeah. That's the way to go. Women are playing the long game. White dudes are like, oh, I got to go shoot him right now. And it's just like, he hurt my feelings. And so, dude, no, chill. So white dudes get all up in their feelings. There's too much shit going on with systemic racism, and it's just we've become kind of like the spoiled rich kids of the country. That's really what it's going.
Hey! Don't get it twisted. Women are vindictive now. There was one woman there was one woman. Hold up. One woman had some astronaut drawers on to kidnap a motherfucker.
That was cold.
Hey,
hold up, yo. We got
she just shot somebody and kept it moving. One person though. You only got.
I was just trying to say one real quick thing. We're not gonna gloss over the fact. I don't know if y'all caught it, but when Myles was talking, he said, "We don't." I mean, they don't, and they. He wanna.
I see that. I said, "Oh, Myles is one of them."
That's like I said, we gonna get into that. Hold up a minute, yo. We gonna get into that. I want to just put a quick bow on this one, or not, or. Hopefully not a noose. What? You ain't nothing changed, Fletcher. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason why he said ain't nothing changed. You've been listening to this entire conversation. We know that your background, what you're doing in the system, everything else. Put a bow on this whole thing for us real quick.
We cannot gloss over the mental health issues that cause anybody to go out and commit this kind of a heinous act. The fact that it was actually brought to the attention of guidance counselors in the school, and they permitted not only the student to return to class, they did not inform the administration that they were allowing the student to return to class. They gave the parents 48 hours to seek mental health outside. We have to take mental health issues seriously, and we have to look at mental health in the way that it needs to be looked at. We cannot say, oh, because that child is of color, they're a greater threat. And so we are going to pounce on this incident right away and give another group 48 hours to deal with it, because there's no way that they would have sent a Black child who drew that and created that list back to class. It wouldn't have happened. And so we have to address the issue as it is presented to us.
And on that note, that about wraps up this segment of thing. There's so much more we could talk about to this, but what we're going to do is right now, we're going to flip the script a little bit. My man, comedian Myles Weber. Folks, there's a story behind this y'all need to hear. And you will hear all that good stuff right afterward. Remember, support Black business, y'all. Don't play games, but support Black business. And Justa Verse, before we get started, you are a Black business. Give us a quick rundown on what you got coming.
I am Black business. Okay, so I'll make it real quick. Go to melanatedverses.com. On if you follow me, Justa Verse, or friends with me on Facebook, Justa Verse, you have seen that I have a countdown to my birthday, 12/13. Shout out to me. And on 12/13, I will be launching just a little something light, couple little clothing things that I done came up with, you know. And one of the shirts is support Black business, and the other shirt is I am Black business, and then there's so much more. I am so excited about this. So when I tell you support Black business, I'm telling you to support me. I got bills to pay and I'm tired of working for the white man. Okay, sorry. It's a whole other subject. But yes, please, melanatedverses.com. Amen. Amen.
Let them know real quick about that, your promo code.
I'll tell you now. Okay, so for the first week, we're having 25% off on anything in the store. You just have to put in JLSL, just a little something like JLSL, and you will get 25% off of your purchase. And that is going to be from the 13th to midnight, the 19th. Well, 11:59 on the 19th.
So now y'all know, and if you like that, how many times John used to tell us all the time, and if you don't know, now you know. And believe
now you know.
That's the man always lets us know. If you don't know, now you know. Ladies and gentlemen, this part of the show's over, and we're gonna come back with Mr. Myles Weber and talk a little about this, guys. This conversation you'll need to hear. Oh, and one other quick thing. This show is also brought to you by the one and only Paul's Pullout Radio. You know, folks, let me tell you something. Why don't we let Mr. the spokesman for Paul's Pullout tell you right now?
Man, let me tell you something. Paul got his Pullout Radio, man. Let me tell you something. If you go to Paul right now, not only will he let you put it in, but even if you listen, it's designed where you can put it in the tip this way, you can tip it around this way, and put that bad boy in there. Put it in there and put it in there. Paul tell you right now, you can put it all the way in or put it the tip in. Either way, Paul's got you. He's got you covered at Paul's Pullout Radio.
There's more to you.
Oh my God, help us. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. Yo.
Get two condoms.
Walk blind better grind for it.
I'm Cousin Paul, CUZZINPAUL. I just want to be America's favorite cousin. I love everybody. Peace.
Hustling faith to walk blind for it. Struggling.
She is confident in who she is. Her walk, the way she moves, her hair, and especially her skin, sun-kissed. Whether she wears makeup or is as natural as the day she was born, whether she is bare or with silver and gold adorned, she knows her worth. Her self-esteem, though often misconstrued, exudes the beauty she feels within. She is a gift because she knows who she is.
White people aren't ready.
Welcome back to the deal, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, let's flip the script a little bit. So I'm wrapping up my last tour on cruise ships. As I'm wrapping them up, it's my last week, and I happen to be working with this new kid coming on. I don't know nothing about nothing. To me, no offense, another white comic, heard he might be funny. This man goes up on stage and says things that make my ears perk up. I can guarantee you that audience had to be at least 70% black in his first show. And they played him off the same way I did, like, oh, the white comic, okay, he's probably funny. Next thing you know, their ears are perked up. For the rest of the week, white folks had to put in complaints because they couldn't get in to see this man's show. You had to be there. A couple weeks ago before I left, I'm semi-retired from cruise ships now, which probably means I will be back, Myles, but I have to wait till my kids get a little older. You'll find out what that's like when yours come. But the thing about it is when I left, I had an anatomy opportunity to talk to this brother. I actually had him a couple weeks ago, and I'm gonna replay that show before the end of the year. We're gonna be doing a lot of replay shows. You're gonna see that. But I got to introduce you folks right now. This guy is, look, we always say the show's rated R for real. If you look up R for real, I promise you, this young man face will show up in the dictionary. Myles Weber's in the house. Let's give him some love. Myles Weber in the house. That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
California. Myles, I want to get right to it, man. Talk to me a little bit about who you are, how you grew up, and how you come up with the thought process you come up with, man.
Yes, I grew up in Vallejo, California, which is statistically one of the most racially diverse cities in the United States. It's pretty even, like a quarter of this people, quarter of that people, quarter. So I mean, it's pretty even, but it is also very poor. It's a very poor ghetto town. It really is. And so I grew up there and really got a sample of all different types of cultures, all different types of people. I got to definitely be steeped in, just lower class mentality, folks who are trying to do whatever they can to get by, folks who are trying to do stuff that they're not necessarily proud of to get by. And yeah, I just did a lot of listening when I was a kid, hanging out with certain kids, and talking to a lot of very wise older black women in my neighborhoods that I would be hanging out with. That was all like, even my 4th and 5th grade teacher, who is my godmother today, is a black woman, a strong black woman. And so I learned a lot from her. I learned a lot from a lot of my friends' mamas, and just a lot of different things about the culture. And it was interesting to see. It's interesting to be so young and be so well acquainted with white privilege and see it so clearly at such a young age, and then grow up and then have it like where you got to tell your certain family members that don't live in the town you're in, that it's like, yeah, you have white privilege. And they're like, what? No. And I'm like, the fact that you're throwing this fit right now. Like, I mean, that should tell you everything about what you're saying right now. So I mean, that was able to introduce me to a lot of different types of cultures, a lot of different types of walks of life, a lot of different types of people. And I really just kind of took that relatability into my stand-up. You know, my first year doing stand-up when I was 19 years old, I did mostly black rooms where I was the only white person in the entire building. And so you had to be funny now. Like, I needed to be funny yesterday at most of those shows. And so you get really good really quick because black audiences don't play. If you bomb in front of a white audience, they might just sit there and stare at you. And that's the worst you're going to get. They might just sit there. They'll look at their watch and they'll be like, oh, this seems to be, maybe he's having some trouble. I don't know what's going on. And so white people just look at you confused. If you ruin a black audience's night, you are going to hear about it. And I heard about it a lot of nights that first year doing stand-up, and I really cut my teeth. But it was really good because it taught me how to cast a wider net as far as the jokes and you write and the stories that you tell. Is it good enough for just these people, or is it good enough for everybody? And so I really started to cultivate my thought process and my writing process to how can I cast as big a net as possible and be inclusive to everybody and write stuff that's going to try and find a way to bridge the gap and bring people together instead of dividing people.
I have one question for Myles.
Yeah, okay.
Myles, when you sat around the dinner table with all your family and discussing their white privilege, and you guys are eating, did they find that you were the only one asking for the salt?
and the pepper. I know. Yeah, it's like they were scared of it.
When you asked for the hot sauce, did they say it's not warm enough? That sauce is not warm enough? You need it hotter?
Myles said, "Don't worry, I got some hot sauce with me."
Oh, I keep it in my back pocket. Absolutely. I bring my own. You can't trust them to have it.
That one time the white guy did the white voice while he was talking about white people. So y'all can't get mad at us for doing it because Myles just did it twice when he was talking about his right? That's what y'all sound like to even you.
It is. It is. It's very true.
There's one thing when you were talking, I want to get back to this thing about the people you're around. Now, we had in the interview we had a few weeks ago, you talked about as you grew up, because your friends, you end up dealing about older black women, and you actually referred to in your act. As a matter of fact, if you don't mind, I'm gonna put you on the spot. You know what line I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Let me break it down to you real quick. This is exactly how he relates to how he follows what black women have taught him. What do you say, Myles?
People always ask me how much longer I'm going to be wearing the mask for, because of all the mask mandates and everything. They go, Myles, how long are you going to wear the mask for? And I always tell them the same thing: until black women stop wearing the mask. Black women are my level of suspicious in this country. If you want to know which Americans not to trust, ask a black lady. She keeps the list in her purse. So me and black women are like me and Ludacris. When they move, I move, just like that.
That to me,
right in on the end of that.
Let me tell you something. When he did that line on the ship, I watched. I actually was sitting in the angle of the audience because I wanted to see people's faces. Black people lost it. White people laughed for a second and they went. I actually have a copy of this. I actually recorded this. There were two white ladies sitting to the left of you when you actually said that. One was wearing red, the other was wearing black and white. I'll never forget this. And when you said, when black women move, I move just like that, they went, what the, what? What? They got into a conversation about what you just said because it just didn't register that it was the possibility that the wisdom of the birth, and I'm not saying it's just because, I mean, we're friends. I'm not just saying it because you're here, but the wisdom of the mother of the earth finally creeped over to one of y'all. And they couldn't comprehend the idea that a white guy actually recognized. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Exactly. Actually recognized, wait a minute, hold it. I got a little wisdom here. I ain't throwing away wisdom because it happens to be a black person or happens to be a black woman. Wisdom's wisdom. And most people haven't figured that out yet, but somehow or another you have.
Oh yeah. Sometimes I say stuff in my shows, old white ladies look at me like I betrayed them. It was wild.
I seen them.
Yeah, they're just like, how could you? And I'm just like, have you talked to you? That's how I could. Like, come on. Of course I could. So yeah, man. So yeah. I mean, wisdom's wisdom. Good stuff. Good stuff. If it makes sense, it makes sense. And it was consistent messaging. That was the thing. Like, I didn't know like about the Black Lady Network, where it was just like, this is the wisdom that we all know. This is just something we all know. So it was common knowledge. So I wasn't just getting it from her over here. I was getting it from her over here and her over here and her over here. So it was consistent. And the consistency was always about trying to do good for others and trying to like cast that wide net, get to know people, understand each other more, ask a lot of questions. Don't take anybody's first word on it. Ask questions, make up your own mind. So yeah, it was a consistent thing for me that I was like, okay, there seems to be something going on here because the story ain't changing.
And Justa Verse, you might be interested in knowing Justa Verse. Unlike your father, he already knew what Black Twitter was.
Yeah, my daddy was on a search for a
he
long
already
time,
knew
like,
what Black Twitter was. He was schooling me.
though, throughout this year, well, throughout this show, we have had the conversation many times, and I have said it, especially when I've been accused of not liking white people. It's just a matter of paying attention and recognizing what's going on. Don't front and act like you don't know what's up. And here's the thing, and this is why Myles specifically I'm going to talk about. I can appreciate you. I can appreciate you because you're not the stereotypical white guy that gets it. And what I mean by that is I don't like the white guy that grew up around Black people. So now you start to change how your upbringing to a point where you start to emulate the ignorant side of Blackness, right? Instead of understanding when it comes to intelligence, we're all intelligent. When it comes to having wisdom, we can all have wisdom. You don't have to behave a certain way to say, I get it, I understand, I have this privilege. You don't have to do that. And many people have emailed this show, have talked noise on have come to my page and tried to talk foolishness to me and all sorts of stuff. And I'll take all of you on. If I don't, I will tag team my cousin Hugh in there, and he got me. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you are a prime example of what it is that I'm talking about. You don't have to be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Because I do this, and it's like that could and whatever. You don't. Now, if that's how you naturally, I don't know. I can't judge anybody off of that. But it is perfect.
Myles was most wanted.
You don't have to do that. If I were to meet you on the street and never know anything, I just look at you like a regular white guy. You know what I'm saying? I might look at you sideways because of your haircut. I don't know what he's about. You know what I'm saying? I'm not quite sure what I'm getting myself into. Let me feel him out a little bit, because you could go either way with the haircut. You feel what I'm saying? So but when you talk, and it's like, I think that's what might shock people, the white people that hear your comedy, is that they're not expecting that from you, because you're not presenting as that side, the stereotypical Black person. You're just being you, and at the same time recognize it. I don't give white people congratulations or kudos for doing what's right, but I will tell you, I recognize what it is that you're doing, and I can appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate that. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to change who you are as a person just to understand and see what's going on. Like, I mean, white people think that you got to change everything about your whole life and this, that, the other. No, absolutely not. You just got to call out bullshit when you see bullshit. I mean, speak up, be like, hey man, maybe don't say that. I mean, I had a family member say a few months ago when I was talking to him, he said something the other, and then he was like, well, the Blacks. And I'm like, Black people, you can call them Black people. It's not a hockey team. Like, you can just be like Black people, just say that. They don't call you the dirty undie whites, like, I mean, so.
Hey, Myles. Not yet.
Black people taking over hockey.
Black folks taking over hockey. As soon as they heat up
we invented it.
Hey,
trust me. And here's the funny part about that, Karina. Believe it or not, we've had conversations. I was actually surprised. His world history is knowledgeable. And I say this not because, once again, not because he's the first white guy we've had in the show, by the way, but because of the fact that when I spoke to him, this guy actually knows his history, but he's not watered down with the BS that we were taught going to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he actually knows Black history. It scared the hell out of me, because there were times I had to watch. But I will say this much about Myles. white folks that are watching, you can relax. He eats white. I have eaten dinner with this man. He eats very white. He wants his salmon just right. He likes
raisins in it?
way too much salad.
With raisins?
Way too much salad.
With raisins. Oh.
He likes the crunchy stuff on his macaroni and cheese. That's all I'm saying. Look at Karina.
Show them your shirt, Daddy.
You can't come to the cookout, but we'll zoom it. You can zoom in on it.
Go ahead.
We don't want your potato salad either, Myles. We don't want your damn potato salad.
Show them your shirt, Father. Show them your shirt.
Oh, show them your shirt.
Show them your shirt. Your shirt, Daddy. Edward H. Clark. Yeah. Do you know why he knows Black history? That's why he knows Black history. Once you start to recognize that, you will start to learn about more than just you. You will stop trying to act like, quote unquote, critical race theory is this big old. No, own up to your shit.
Damn, Eddie, okay. How long you think we need to read that?
I'm looking at it like it's just something.
We good.
There was something I will tell you, because I know you said critical race theory. There was something I said on stage last week. I was doing shows and it was a split audience, and the white people got super tight on me because I said something past touch and go about critical race theory. Because the whole thing to me just feels like bad husband energy. You know what I'm talking about? Just like, oh, come on, baby, how come you keep bringing up that I cheated? Because you keep on cheating. Like, it's been 400 years. And you keep on cheating. You up at 1 a.m. on the phone with this bitch, Jerry Mander. Who is she? And everybody got so tight. And I was like, damn it. All right, fine. We'll go back to joke.
Oh, Jesus. Yo, Myles, we got to get ready to shut this thing down in a minute. And I got a couple of things I need to do before I do. And we, of course, folks, y'all know, end of the year, we are not going to leave you without solutions. Y'all know better than that. Karina Ford came off the road, y'all, just to make sure y'all got solutions on the last show of the year. All right. But we're going to talk about all that in a minute. Myles, tell us a little bit about the special, which, by the way, will be here. Give everybody all the information.
Yes, I got a new comedy special coming out this Sunday on the 12th. So December 12th, it's going to be on my YouTube channel. So if you look up Myles Weber Joker on YouTube or just search for Myles Weber, you'll be able to find my YouTube channel. The special will be up there in its entirety on Sunday. And it's a special called Mr. Brightside. It's an hour special. And it's just a very different kind of special. You know, I feel like a lot of comedy now has become a lot of people just kind of complaining about stuff. And so I kind of look at the positive side of a lot of stuff. I talk about the positive sides of the pandemic. I talk about how we could all bring communities together. And then I talk about me and my wife and my family. I get a little candid about that. I tell some drug stories. So that's a lot of fun too. So yeah, it's going to be a good special. I'm very proud of it. It's dropping on my YouTube channel this Sunday, Mr. Brightside. Check it out. And it's going to be on here. I appreciate you showing it on here, Eddie.
What time is the show? What time is it premiere on YouTube?
It's probably going to be up in the morning. So I'm early morning, West Coast time. So y'all will be able to get it definitely by the afternoon time.
All right. So we will because if early morning, see, you could tell he's been around black folks for a long time. Because I asked him what time. It should have been, well, it'll be on exactly 9 o'clock Western time. It'd be on sometime this morning. We're going to hit that up for y'all.
So you can hit it up in the afternoon. Exactly.
But we will. We will have it on. We will be showing it live when it comes on, and we'll be showing it again on the 12th that night at 9 o'clock. You'll be able to check it out again. So you will be able to see it twice if you miss it in the morning. But at 9 o'clock on the 12th, Myles Weber, just what you've been waiting for. Trust me. The dude is funny. Y'all going to enjoy it. I want all y'all to know that there's got it like that. Myles? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Before we go to solutions, before John leaves, before everything, if you notice my name changed, right? There's now a $sign in front of it. That's my Cash App. My birthday's on Monday. The day after the special airs on 12/12 is 12/13. So please feel free to Cash App me. Do you see it? It's $Justa Verse. Okay, you see, Myles is supporting me. John, do not send me that daggone thing. You Cash at me.
For nothing, this is my Venmo too. So yeah, like
Wow.
spread the love, everybody.
Wow.
Well, you know what I'm saying? So go ahead and donate to, you know what I'm saying, Myles for his show, contribute, you know what I'm saying, tell him thank you. And then the following day, just keep your wallets open and there it is. Okay.
Permit me at this moment to respond to both of y'all.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck? Fuck. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck? What the fuck?
I got just what the fuck. Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, yo. Hey, can I just say this? Because you reminded me. My father used to say that when I used to dream I was in the bathroom and I had you ever had that pee dream? He used to say what the fuck too. Man, that boy don't piss all over me again.
Check it out, y'all. We gotta lock this thing down real quick. I got a quick one I want to run to y'all. A quick one I want to run to you guys. Quick thing from Blue Boy Boxing and from Rochester's, and we'll be right back with solutions right after this.
So many people helped me get to this point in my life, man. I just want to do the same for others. It would be disrespectful to those who trained me, poured all that knowledge into me, not to pay it forward. As I train, I just want to produce winners. Not just in the boxing ring, but in the game of life. Life is like one long boxing match. You bobbing, weaving, trying to go the distance, trying to outlast challenges that'll come your way. You don't always have control over situations, but you do have control over your attitude and how you treat them. I've had many challenges, many obstacles I've had to overcome, and I did.
Download Blue Boy Boxing Club app for free at the App Store or Google Play.
What's up, people? What it be? You know, Edward H. Clark here, host of Unvaccinated Voices. Edge Rochester's getting ready to enjoy myself a fantastic meal. Rochester's located at 130 North White Horse Pike, Lawnside, New Jersey. You guys know what to do. The numbers 856-547-7427.
Bottom line is that food that'll stick to your ribs. We have beef ribs, pork ribs. You know, everything we do, we cook with love. So the pork ribs, the beef ribs, the fish is as fresh as we can get it. The seafood is as pristine from the waters it comes from. We pay attention to detail to everything. The vegetables are all vegan, so there's no meat products. So even the vegetarian, the vegan can find something to eat on our menu because we understand the importance of people's diets and their palates and wanting to be able to show concern and not take their choices and selections lightly.
Now, one of the things that people absolutely love about here is the desserts. Talk to me about the variety of desserts and how it brings you back home.
We have, we have a new pineapple upside down cake. We do a peach cobbler and an apple cobbler that you would swear your grandma made. We do a really nice chocolate crunch cake, which is something new. We do a chocolate mousse. I have an in-house baker who gave us some mousse and some chocolate cookies, so we just came up with something simple. And bread pudding, vanilla bean sauce. A little bit of just, we don't do a lot, but what we do, we try to do well. We try to do as best we can.
Right. Go crazy. You guys know the deal. Y'all know I'm not lying to you. I wouldn't tell you to come down here unless the place is on point. So look how fast the service is. That's fast service. That's what I'm talking about. I ain't been in 2 seconds. Fast service.
This is Rochester's Barbecue and Grill, 130 White Horse Pike North in Lawnside, New Jersey. We're located next to the ShopRite in the shopping center. Rochester's, let us cook for you so you can be a guest at your own party.
Look what I did, I made history. They don't know what to do with me. Ain't looking back
Time for another solutions. Well, we talked about every possible thing when it comes to the school shootings or just gun violence, NRA, all of those things, right? We already discussed every single one of those things. However, people forget about the shootings in theaters, restaurants. Remember the guy who dressed up as a superhero while you watching a movie? Killing all of those people? People forgot, huh? What about the bombings except for like 9/11? Timothy McVeigh, all of those kids? It's a lot. It's a lot to encompass. I know you heard me say it's something that's not in our nature. I'm not saying killing isn't. I'm saying bringing it to any type of organized situation, we're not. No schools, no hospitals, no churches. We're not storming the White House. Even though we would be well within our rights to do all of those things, right? We haven't. Goes back to slavery. It's things we're taught. The things we kind of continue to repeat. And we're finally like now breaking generational curses, right? And one of those curses is not going to see someone when you need help mentally. Having people commit suicide because of their sexual orientation. There's nothing new about being gay. It's back in that Bible for real, for real. Before that Bible, actually. I'm just saying. So when you think of these things, I know you think I'm thinking of just a color. It's not a color. It's the mentality of this country. But it's nothing new. Everybody acts like it's something new. It's nothing new. Very, very old. And just to think that the stuff that's going on now, parents went through, grandparents, so forth and so on. It's sad. You wonder if it'll ever stop. I'm not sure. But how about this? How about we get help for the people that need it? Not only in schools. You know who also needs it? Police officers. Bad. They also need someone on the force that actually has a degree in this, that is trained as a police officer. So that when certain instances happen at homes and they have someone out there that can relate and understand the thinking of one's mind that has this chemical imbalance, right? How about that? And we can't leave out this. How about it's just equality? Equality solves a lot of problems because if you don't recognize there's a problem, why would you ever even fix it? Now that's the solution, baby.
We can afford locking it down, no doubt, no doubt. Hey, y'all actually know the deal on that. Hey, it has been one hell of a show. I want to thank all my guests for coming out here today. I want to thank, of course, Mr. Yu. Ain't nothing changed, Fletcher. That brother, that's the one title I absolutely love. Ain't nothing changed, because when you really stop to look at it, you're right, man. You're right. The fact that 2016 happened showed me nothing changed. We thought Andrew Johnson was gone. So you ain't nothing. Always appreciate you. Thanks, like you've been great for the show ever since the show started, man. A year ago now. I want to thank you, man, because you've been there. Every time we've called up on you've been there. You've definitely dropped pearls of wisdom that has definitely helped us all out. Jay Latt, appreciate you coming out there, man, laying the truth down all the way from Newark. And the beautiful part about you, brother, is you don't pretend it. You don't play it for nobody. I know you personally. More people will get to know you because in 2022, your ass is gonna be back. Because I definitely want to drop some more knowledge down on us like that. You know what I'm saying? Say again, bro.
Where can we find you on social media?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that question. I am. Sorry, I was waiting for Eddie. I was like, you want to ask me? All right. On Twitter, I'm at JLat the Comedian, like you named there, saying at JLat the Comedian. On Instagram, I am at JLat the Comedian. YouTube, you gotta ask because they won't let me make my own name with some old, URL type names. You gotta ask me. It's a long story. I'm not that big yet. They said I had to get more followers, so whatever. I got a couple of shows coming up. You people out there, if you want to check it out, this Friday, I'll be at a comedy show. My friend actually has a comedy show and bingo mixed together. I'm very interested to see how this goes down.
That's black.
Actually,
like
he's white. He's white, believe it or not.
But he followed you just like that.
Yeah, I can't be mad at it. This is a great idea. It's called Bingomedy or Bingomedy. I don't know how you pronounce the O, but it's a play. It's a play on comedy and bingo. So there you go. December 10th, Friday. KTB Coffee Shop in Hackensack. Not Hackensack. What's that town over there? Heights. Was it Lodi? Look it up.
Hasbrook Heights.
Hasbrook Heights. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
If you're black, you get pulled over. You know you're no longer in Hackensack.
That's why I don't know about the town. That's why I don't know about it. Also, wait, I have it here. Hell Yeah Comedy Show, Friday, December the 18th. Wawa, not the place you get the little subs in your soup. It's a Wawa Social Club. It's in North Bergen, New Jersey. December 18th. Go look me up. I'm a JLat Comedian. Also on Facebook. You have any questions? Hit me up. I love to talk. White guy. I gotta watch it, man. Because my power actually went out because I'm running 2 heaters because it's cold as hell in here. But once my thing came on, I heard you say black women keep a list of things they hate in their purse. I heard that part, and I didn't even hear anything you said. I said, whoa, that's funny. I heard that last part. I was like, that shit is true.
He said he followed black women. When they move, he moved. Just like that. But yo, J-Lat stuff also. If you guys go to Eddie Clark Comic on my Facebook page, you'll see a lot of J-Lat stuff up there. I always put a lot of comics up there, what they're doing. Karina Ford, the Queen Solutions. Karina Ford has got a lot of stuff going on in 2022. The Laughter Therapist is going to be a program on UVB TV. A lot of y'all been asking me what's up with her. It's down. You already know she's going to be down. We'll have the information for you. You will see a lot of her stuff coming up. And we're going to be running also her Saturday shenanigans will be running on this from now on. All right. So we're going to mix them all up because they all make sense and they funny as hell. And they also poignant as hell. So you learn a little something. Justa Verse. You know I got nothing but love for you, girl, because I have no choice because you're my oldest. So I got to give you love. You're my oldest. That Cash App, I know, right? But Justa Verse, melnativeverses.com. Don't forget to check it out, melnativeverses.com. Check out the information. Check out the books. By the way, I keep pushing this because I think it's very important. There are 2 books, Crown Me King, all right? And My Hair is My Crown. Y'all need to get a copy of these books. It will do you some good. You will learn something. I got my little ones out there, and the fact of the matter is, I love my little ones, but that lady you see right there, Justa Verse, that's my first. That's my girl. That's my princess. You know what I'm saying? And the rest of them have to learn to earn that spot. So got nothing but love for them. Nothing but love for them. And of course, Mr. Myles Weber. Thank you very much for coming out here, bro. The first interview you did a couple weeks ago, people were down with it. They enjoyed it. And I know this special coming up on the 12th. Catch it in the morning when it comes on, folks. All right? And at night, 9 o'clock, we will promote it more. 9 o'clock, it will be replayed right here on UVV TV. And that will be the first comedy special we've done on this show. And that will be Mr. Myles Weber Joker. And y'all will enjoy that. And I really hope y'all down with it. Let me just leave y'all with this before we cut out.
That.
I got nothing but love for everybody, but I'm out of here because I need to go see my kids. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, my little daughter, Ava. All right, she out there in the hospital. She's still in the hospital, y'all. I appreciate all the prayers and everything y'all been throwing out for her and everything. She's doing a lot better. She's going to start eating for real soon. She's going to be going to that breast. You know what I'm saying? She got up that nose thing and going to that breast, and that's what's up. And she's going to be there. So, Ava Ray, we got nothing but love for you. And this, ladies and gentlemen, today, for the first time ever, I had a chance to feed my son. All right. I haven't had that experience in 42 years. The last time I did that, it was with Justa Verse. And it feels good. And this young man, this young man's gonna get the education. He's gonna be right. He's gonna have his stuff right. And the reason I'm wearing that shirt is for two reasons. First of all, I want him to constantly see that in his face all the time. I want him to understand, you know what I'm saying, that I don't care how light his skin is, man. People gonna see him a certain way. So it depends on how he carries himself. That's gonna keep him right. In the words of my man, Hugh Fletcher, ain't nothing changed. You know what I'm saying? So he gonna understand that. You know what I'm saying? So I want to thank you all for coming out. It's been absolutely wonderful. This has been the end of the year show. During the rest of the year, folks, during the week, and we'll be advertising to let you know, we're going to be showing replays of different shows. That's going to be really good. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, right here. Don't forget to check out It's Just a Conversation. This is one of the best shows. It's their year-end show. And I'm telling you, I got to say it played up. That shit was funny. Y'all don't know some of, y'all gonna forget some of the stories. Y'all checked out the news, man. They gonna bring back up, and they got their own twist with it. It's Justa Verse, it's Shay, it's Yaya Jules. It is real conversation for real time. It's just conversation tomorrow night, right here at 8 o'clock. These women are fools, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks a lot for coming out. My name is Eddie Clark, and it's like I always say, man, see you guys in 2022. But until then, we'll talk again.
There's more to you. It frustrates me to see so-called artists abuse my love. I want to bring the music back to what it was, what it used to be. When we felt a vibe, deep inside, close our eyes and let go, see. Cats from Aretha to Stevie, Shaka to the Black MJ, India to Jodeci's first 2 CDs, Talib to Flame, and music to me, just a verse. Have and will maintain the love behind the scenes, behind the green. You feel me, Flame?
Yeah, I propose we stay grounded.
Cause this craft we have mastered is founded on a greater plan that has somehow been tainted, but
we strive to maintain it, claim it without shaming it.
We need to start a new path, seldom taken, venture into a world forgotten, a world of talent and love of music, where artists wouldn't dream to abuse it.
Yo, peace, Justa Verse.
Alright, Flame.
No doubt.
We out.
Let's have a conversation. Have a conversation. We can have a conversation. We can have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. We want a conversation. We can have a conversation. We can have a conversation.
How about a big hand now? Thank y'all.
And if you don't know, now you know.